You did quite several videos exposing the lies made by Western media, by government, in researching to how the US government basically funded those separatists. So, I mean, how come you choose your focus to Xinjiang now? This is like a hit topic, and it's sometimes it can be dangerous to talk about because you're saying something different from the Western mainstream media, different from U.S. foreign policy. You will be called a genocide denier or all those labels, you know. So why you decided to step into this?
The interesting thing is I didn't just start talking about Xinjiang recently. I have been actually writing as Tony Cartolucci about Xinjiang for years and years before it was ever a topic, like a big topic. I had been writing about the World Uyghur Congress, all of these NED-funded organizations before any of this started. So, I mean, I'm talking about it now because it's now a major focus for the US propaganda war against China. So obviously I'm going to talk about it, but I had been writing about it for years before a lot of people even noticed that this was an issue. Because what you do, once you find out, once you understand that the NED is behind all of these groups, when you see anything in the news at all, anything at all, because
this is the National Endowment for Democracy. It was created by the US government. It is funded annually by the US government. It is overseen by Congress and the US State Department. And what they do is they fund political interference of regime change operations all around the globe, including in China. And their operations in China are so extensive, they have to break them down into regions. So this is the Xinjiang/East Turkestan region. And East Turkestan, in case you don't know, is the word that separatists and terrorists call Xinjiang, China. The international community recognizes Xinjiang as part of China. They do not recognize this East Turkestan. And so who's the US government funding through the NED? Many organizations, including World Uyghur Congress. So when World Uyghur Congress says the money came through them to fund this tribunal, they're talking about US government money.
Focusing on it because at that time there were still terrorist attacks in Xinjiang. I saw the connection with Baluchistan in Pakistan and the Rohingya issue in Myanmar. I could see how the US was using all of these crises, engineered crises, and US-backed subversion and separatism. I could see how they were using it to attack China directly and attack China's allies and partners for the Belt and Road Initiative.
So basically you saw this coming, you predicted this.
Yes, like many years ago. People should go to my old blog, landdestroyer.blogspot.com, and just type in the search box and you will see articles from like 2011, maybe something as far back as that, because when John McCain said it's going to Russia and China, I immediately started researching everything to do with Russia and China and how they might be undermining both countries the same way they were doing in the Middle East with the Arab Spring and the same way they were doing here in Thailand.
Is there anything else that you want to share that you think is important to share but I haven't asked?
I just think it's important for people to understand how powerful and dangerous this anti-China propaganda is, because I see it here in Thailand. I see, luckily these mobs are very small, very unpopular, but it's hard to gauge how many kids are sitting at home on social media who don't believe in it enough to go out, but their minds are being poisoned by all of these lies. So we had Louisa Grieve from the National Endowment for Democracy, and now she works for the Uyghur Human Rights Project. She actually came to Thailand, went to Chulalongkorn University, joined this activist named Netwit, who has gone to the Oslo Freedom Forum, and he's one of these US-backed or US-adjacent activists. And they had a whole seminar on repeating all of these lies about Xinjiang and poisoning the Thai youth against China. And you have to think, when you look at how important China is to the entire region, economically, culturally, historically, poisoning this is like turning children against their parents or cousins against one another. It's really sinister, and it could cause long-term unnecessary damage. I think it's important for people to understand that and to speak up against it. It's not something that's going to go away. It's something that once these people are poisoned, it's very hard to convince them otherwise.